out what exactly happened.
Good question. He said when someone dies, does their hisab, does their accountability start immediately? Yes and no. To some degree, yes. Because there are punishments in the grave. People will be punished in the grave for things that they did in this life. I gave an entire lecture on reasons why people will be punished in their grave. Some people will be punished in their grave for not praying. The Prophet ﷺ, he passed by a grave, two graves, and he said, إِنَّهُمَا يُعَذَّبَانِ وَلَا يُعَذَّبَانِ فِي كَبِيرٍ وَإِنَّهُ لَكَبِيرٌ. He said, as for these two people in these graves, they're being punished in their graves for something major, but not necessarily major. He said, as for the first one, فَلَمْ يَسْتَبْرِئُ مِنْ بَوْلِهِ. He didn't keep himself free from his own urine. Meaning he soiled his clothes. He didn't make istinja, or he didn't urinate in a way that he could prevent urine from getting on his clothes. And he's not being punished in his grave necessarily because he got urine on his clothes. He's being punished in his grave because if urine is on your clothes and you pray in those clothes, your salat is not accepted. So the carelessness that the person is exhibiting, is displaying, will cause them to be punished in the grave. You have many Muslims who go to the stall and urinate in the stall, right? Not in the toilet, but in the stall, the urinal. And it splashes all back on your clothes, right? And then you walk out of the bathroom as if, like, you know, we have this arrogance with us, like, I don't have to sit down to use the bathroom. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, I'm always amazed when I see Muslims do things that are anti-Islam and then look at other Muslims with this look of arrogance, like, yeah, I did it, so what, right? Like you have Muslims who don't fast in Ramadan purposely. And then, you know, you go in the store to go get something from your wife or get something for the kids, and this person's in the store eating and, you know, buying this, and then they're like, yeah, just real arrogant. It's like, I don't care. It's not my sin. I could care less whether you eat or you don't eat. I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about me. I could care less. The older you get, the more selfish you become. When you're young, you care about everybody else obeying the law. You need to roll your pants above your ankles. Brother, you need to grow your beard. Brother, you need to make salat in the masjid. Brother, you need to do this. When you're young, you worry about everybody else. As you get older, you stop caring about everybody else. And the only one that you become concerned about is yourself. I don't care whether you obey Allah or not. That's not my issue. That's your issue. If I take the time out to offer you some advice, that's out of the kindness of my heart and my love for you as my brother or my sister in Islam. But I don't have to care. That's not my responsibility. My responsibility is me. I want good for you, but you got to want good for yourself first. The Prophet ﷺ said, "A'inni ala nafsika bi kathratu sujud." Help me help you by making an abundance of prostration, meaning making more salat. I can't help you if you don't help yourself. The Prophet ﷺ told this to one of his companions. Help me help you by making an abundance of prayer, meaning I can't help you. If you stop praying, I can't help you. So I'm saying to you as a Muslim, help me help you by being obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, if you don't be obedient, that's not my concern. So, you know, at the end of the day, does the person's hisab start in the grave? Yes, in some regard, yes. You will be punished in your grave for not praying, for being careless about getting your clothes soiled in urine, so much so that it affects the validity of your prayer, and therefore you will be punished in your grave for the carelessness of not being, making sure that your clothes are not soiled in urine. Number 2, people will be punished in their grave for stealing. The Prophet ﷺ, in a very famous hadith in Sahih Bukhari, one of his companions, Qaraqa'ah, who they were in a battle, and one of the enemy army shot an arrow, and the arrow came and it hit Qaraqa'ah in the chest. Qaraqa'ah fell dead on the ground. The Sahaba began to say, Allahu Akbar, he's going to Jannah, he's going to Jannah. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Wallahi, I can see him being scorched by fire in his grave right now because of a shirt that he stole from the war goods. from the spoils of war. The scholars conclude from that a person could be punished in their grave for stealing. And stealing can manifest in many different ways. Taking something that does not belong to you, right? That does not belong to you. And that could possibly mean sometimes when, I hate to bust your bubble, but I'm just going to be honest with you. Some of us, when we clock in at work, we lie on our timesheet and say that we came in at a time that we didn't come in. You clock in at work, you didn't get there until 8:30, but you clocked in at 8. So basically, you are going to be paid for half an hour that you didn't work. You are taking something that does not belong to you. Muslims are honest people. Honest people. We don't take things that don't belong to us. We're honest people, honorable people. We don't take things that don't belong to us, man. So clocking in, lying on your timesheet, I'm just giving you one example. There are many examples of how we steal and don't realize it, right? Go into the movie theater and you have a child that's a certain age and you lie to the person at the counter and say, oh, the child is only this age or that age, so you don't have to pay for them. And the child gets in for free. You just stole, you took money from that person because the $10 that you were supposed to pay for that kid that you kept in your pocket is not rightfully yours. It belonged to someone else. But because you lied and you schemed, you got to keep that money in your pocket. You took something that didn't belong to you. In very subtle ways, man. In our society, we use scheming and, trying to get around this and get around that. But the fact of the matter is that it may fall under the category of stealing, taking something that doesn't belong to you. So, stealing is another reason for a person to be punished in their grave. Slandering, carrying tales. The Prophet ﷺ in the same hadith, he said that these two are being punished in the grave. He said, as for the first one, then he did not keep himself free from his urine. He said, as for the second one, that he used to go to this person and tell this person what this one said, and then go to this person and tell this person what this one said. And you have many Muslims who do this and create friction and create trauma, create problems between other Muslims simply because when somebody said something to you, you could not keep it a secret. So you ran and you told, oh, guess what this one said? That's what's called in Islam, namima. You are a namam. You are a tale carrier. You go in between people spreading information about what the other person said with the purpose of separating and creating discord between Muslims. Haram in our religion, and you'll be punished in your grave for it. To sit and listen to this person have a conversation about this one and then go to this one and say, hey, I was just listening to them and they said this about you. Or guess what this one said about you. And we do it all the time. And then when two people start having problems with one another, what do? We back out of the situation like we don't have anything to do with it. You had everything to do with it. You started it. You started it because you took the information to the other person. Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, إِذَا حَدَّثَكَ أَخُوكَ بِحَدِيثٍ ثُمَّ تَوَلَّى فَهُوَ أَمَانَ وَإِن لَمْ يَسْتَكْمِنُكَ. Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said that if your brother says something to you in private and then turns and walks away, that conversation is an amana. It's a trust. Even if he doesn't say to you, don't tell anybody. I don't have to say to you, don't tell anybody. The fact that I pull you to the side and I speak to you in private means that I didn't want everybody to hear the conversation. And for you to take what I said to you and go tell someone else what I said, and then it creates friction between me and that person because of what you said, you are every bit responsible for that. And this is a reason for a person to be punished in the grave. So yeah, hisab actually does start soon as death overtakes the person. Absolutely. Absolutely. Any other is there any other questions or comments about what was presented? We really have to be, careful about how, we navigate, through people friendships and relationships in our communities, we have to be careful. We take these things for granted. We look at these things as if they're not important. And we're sharing information with people that if the person heard you say that, they would be mortified. I told you something in private, and you went callously and exposed to somebody else something that I told you in private. I'm mortified because it was a private conversation, and we do it like it's nothing. Oh, I'm going to tell you something, a conversation that I had with such and such, but just keep this between me and you. How can you, the next time you think about saying, keep this between me and you, think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala listening. The all-hearer, the one who hears everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can hear the crawling of an ant, a black ant on a black rock, black smooth rock in the darkness of the night. Allah can hear the footsteps of an ant on a rock. So the next time you think about saying to someone, "Hadha baini wa bainik," keep this between me and you. It's not between me and you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Sami al-Basir, the all-hearer, the all-seer, is hearing the whole conversation. Right? Allah mentioned in an ayah in the Quran, "Qad sami Allahu qawla allati tujadiluka fi zawjiha wa tashtaki ila Allah." That Allah has heard the complaints of a woman who came to you to debate with you about her husband. This ayah was in relation to Khawla bint Tha'laba, who went to the Prophet ﷺ to complain about her husband. Aisha said, I was in the room when she was complaining to the Prophet about her husband. And although I couldn't hear the whole conversation, Allah heard the whole conversation from above the 7 heavens. So the next time you think about saying to someone, this is between me and you, think about Aisha's statement that Allah heard the whole conversation from above the 7 heavens. I was right there in the room. وَقَدْ خَفِيَ عَلَيَّ بَعْضَ كَلَامِهَا. And I couldn't make out everything that she was saying, but Allah heard the entire conversation from above the 7 heavens. So the next time we think that we are having a private conversation with someone and we're keeping this between us, we're not keeping it between us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Sami'ul Basir, the all-hearer, the all-knower, the all-aware, the omnipresent. He hears everything. So it's not between us. Now, if that's it on the questions, inshallah, we'll stop here. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وسبحانك ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Jazakumullah khairan for you guys taking time out of your Friday for joining us, and hopefully the reminder benefits the believer bi'idhnillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa fikum.